Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Tea with Doug G. If you don't know me, my name is Doug Gooden, and y'all, this week I am so excited because I have not one, but two incredible guests in Hannah Day and Michaela or Mac Michener. Two of my absolute best friends on this entire planet. We met doing wind-shaped camps 2 years ago, and we've stayed in touch ever since. But I'm gonna hand it over to them. Let them tell you a little bit about themselves. So whoever wants to go first, Hannah or Mac, tell the folks who you are, what you do. Just the floor is yours for right now.
Am I going first? All right. I'm Hannah. Like Doug said, we met at camp a couple years ago. Right now, I'm finishing up a degree in forensic science. I will graduate in 2 days. So pretty excited about that. Other than that, I am a barista for a couple more days as well. And then I'm moving out home to substitute teach. I don't really know what else to say about myself.
Hannah has been on the show before, way back
I have.
in the very early days of T. Hannah was on, so Hannah is a veteran of this show, and all right, well, we just lost Mac, but
Mac
once
is gone.
again, if anything can happen on this show, it will happen. So here she is once again. Hi, Mac. And there she goes again.
And she's
All
gone.
right, sweet. Well, real quick, I just want to say hi to Daniel Van Zant for tuning in, and also hello to my mother. My mom says congratulations on graduating, Hannah.
Thank you.
So yeah, man, I love it. I love it. We're getting off to a great start here. Let's see if I can get Mac. Let me see if I can get Mac back real quick. Shooting her a quick text. And she should be showing up sooner or later. Here she is. All right. Hi, Mac.
Hi.
Hey, it's like I said, if anything can happen, it will happen. So, it's all good.
It's fine.
It's all good. It's actually a dramatic entrance. So, Mac, why don't you tell the folks who you are, what you do, why you root for the wrong football team, things like that.
Okay. So, I'm Mac. Yep, I'm Mac. My real name's Michaela. Everybody calls me Mac. I like to sleep. If I had to commit a crime, I would break into the government system and erase all loan debt. And I basically exclusively drink sweet tea and Coke and eat Chick-fil-A, and that pretty much sums up my life.
Yeah. You're also in grad school for psychiatry, correct?
Sounds so funny.
Mac, you good?
Sorry. The
No,
noise
you're
is
good.
sounding really funny.
No, you're
That's
good.
okay.
You're good.
We'll figure it out.
But you're coming. Can you hear us? All right, sweet. Okay. Like I said, this is gonna be a nice little laid back episode. We're all good friends here, so I think we're gonna get started off with our first couple questions. Okay. So, first question that I have, we start off the show usually with a question from our good friend, Mr. Ben Tankersley. And Ben has sent in a very timely question. Last week, we saw Spotify Wrapped come out, and it basically, just blasted everyone's musical taste. And so Ben's question is, how badly did your Spotify Wrapped call you out this past week? Hannah, why don't you start for us?
Um, I mean, it definitely roasted me hardcore. I believe the essence of it was that it was calling me depressed with sleep
Mm,
problems.
mm.
Um, but Spotify hasn't waited till Spotify Wrapped to call me out. They've been calling me out all year round. I came prepared with my suggested playlists from them. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I've got Sad Hour, 10 Years of Heartache. Uh, I've had Alone Again be a suggested one from them. Yeah, they just really like to tell me that I'm sad all the time.
Well, Hannah, I think you and Spotify need to have a conversation then to lay off just a little bit. Mac,
Honestly.
how'd your Spotify Wrapped call you out this year?
I don't have Spotify. And
Oh,
so
okay. Well
I
then,
did not get
Wow.
called out. Although,
dang.
although, hear me out. I got Spotify 2 days ago.
Okay,
And so right now I'm in the process of making my playlist and it's
okay.
fantastic. But I did not get called out and I'm because it probably would have been a lot of weird mix of everything pretty much. So
Yeah,
I'm glad
I'll
to not get called out.
I'll go on and say my Spotify Wrapped was a very interesting mix of high energy Christian songs and then very dark and depressing musical numbers. Like the entire soundtrack of Jekyll and Hyde made it onto my Spotify Wrapped playlist. So fun stuff there. Fun stuff was happening this year on my Spotify Wrapped. But yeah, thanks for that question, Ben. And actually, I'm going to go to another question that Ben sent in, which is, we're in the season of Christmas. We're getting ready for the holidays and everything like that. And I'm curious, what would you say are your go to decorations on a gingerbread house? Mac, you want to start us off with this one?
Okay, go to decorations on a gingerbread house. Okay, you know those little gummy things that are like hard as a rock? Those things suck. Get rid of those. Just throw them out. They shouldn't exist. They're like the candy corn of Christmas. Those, no, you're gone.
Okay,
Frosting
okay,
is a must. You got to have different colors of frosting so you can distinguish it because all white is, again, lame.
okay.
So you got to have different colors to make it pretty, especially if you're going to take out the little like jawbreaker candy corn things. And then you got to have M&Ms because there's red and green, not Skittles because that's just weird. Red and green M&Ms, frosting, and that's pretty much all you need if you want to be like basic. If you want to be extra, you can add like weird stuff, but that's the basics for a good gingerbread house for sure.
Okay. Okay. All
Mhm.
right. Hannah.
Um, so my family's not actually big into making gingerbread houses because my dad is the only person in my house who will eat gingerbread.
Okay.
But we do enjoy the decorating part. So it kind of depends on who in my family is decorating it. Last year we got two separate houses so that me and my older sister could decorate it because we don't care what it looks like. My
Yeah.
younger sisters want it to look perfect. We just want to have fun. So lots of frosting is a must because it's gonna go everywhere. It's not just for sealing the corners; it's everywhere. And then we actually used a lot of coconut last year for decorating because we wanted it
Really?
to look like snow.
Okay. Okay.
um,
I follow that logic.
yes, I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I mean, peppermint was involved. I think we
Hmm.
used caramel to make a chimney. Um, I don't know. It's just whatever we can find, really.
Very cool. Very cool. So, okay. So I have to admit, this is actually a question that Ben sent in last week. And the reason I added it in again is because, like I said, the three of us are very close, very good friends. And I trust y'all's opinion on this. So I have decided that for my for the youth group that I'm in charge of, I've decided that for our Christmas party, we're going to do a speed building gingerbread house competition. So I'm going to get a bunch of gingerbread house sets, and I'm going to see who can build a gingerbread house the fastest. And I know that the base directions are it has to have four walls and a roof, and it has to stand on its own. But I'm curious as to what y'all think the decoration rules should be. Like, what level of decoration do you think we should have in this speed building competition? And okay, actually, and do you think that sabotage should be allowed in the competition? And I'll just let y'all talk this one out. So whoever would like to go first, go ahead. I'm just gonna sip on my tea here for a second.
I love this.
What do you even do with that? What?
I mean,
Only never mind. Oh gosh. Only you. Youth group stories are gonna become very frequent,
Yeah.
and I'm ready for it.
I mean, starting with the second half of that, sabotage should absolutely be allowed.
Exactly. Sabotage should
Keep
definitely
it
be
interesting.
allowed.
Absolutely. As far as decoration criteria, I don't really know. I mean, I personally love themes, putting a theme to it, but
Okay.
I have no idea what that theme would be.
Okay. So maybe the house has to have a theme to it, and it has to be a very clear
Mhm.
decorative theme. So
Yes.
you can't just throw a bunch of stuff on the house and expect that to count as your decorations element. You have to like clearly think it out, but also build it the fastest. Okay,
Yes.
that's a solid idea. Maca, you have any ideas on decoration rules for this uh, possibly horrible idea that I'm planning on doing with my students?
Oh,
Okay, good to know. Thank you, Mac. I think Mac's just having a hard time. For those of you who are curious, the program that I use, Restream, is not the most user friendly when it comes to doing it on your when it comes to like various devices, and so that's why we sometimes just have a lot of technical issues. But it's okay because we've had things come up like this in the past, and we will power through once again. So I'm gonna head on to another question that we got in, and it comes from the fiance of my good friend Ben Tankersley, Macy Norton, and Macy at your fragrance destination. I love your Instagram handle, Macy. Macy wanted to know, have you ever dyed your hair a wild color? And if so, what color? And Hannah, I'm going to let you answer this question while I text Mac and try to figure out if everything's okay.
so I'm not sure if I've actually told you this before, but I actually did when I was 17. I was at camp for the summer, and without telling my parents and without asking them first, I dyed my hair electric blue. Not
Mm.
the whole head, but like the ends of it, because I was like, I'm gonna cut it off anyway, so it's fine. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any photo evidence of this happening, but it did happen. And yeah, so it was kind of a spur of the moment decision. It was terrible, like box dye. I did it in the camp bathroom and actually ruined their floors.
All the best decisions are just spur of the moment decisions. Um, all the best decisions are spur of the moment decisions.
Mhm.
So if all right, so Mac just texted me. Let me see if I can fix this up for her. Okay. All right. So I do have to say, for those of you who didn't know, this question that Macy sent in is partially due to the fact that I made a bet with my students this past week for them to help set up our Christmas lights display here at the church, and I lost. I both lost and won the bet because I got the amount of participation in it that I wanted to have, but there still was a consequence. So I dyed it red and green. You can still see just a touch of red in my hair up top. But yeah, so that's what prompted this question from Macy, and Macy actually sent in a follow up question for me, which is, would I ever consider dyeing my hair hot pink? To which I will say, very lovingly, no, not in a million years, Macy. Um, Maybe not in a million years, because I I have the job of a youth pastor, so never you never know what you might be roped into in terms of challenges with teenagers. But yeah. All right. Mag is still working on getting back in, so we'll just move on and loop her in as soon as she comes up. Now, here is another question that we got last week, but I gotta tell you, I love the question last week so much that I kind of want to ask it again. So it's from Amy Barker, and Amy wanted to know if you had to spend one day in a Freaky Friday body switch scenario with someone, who would that be? And it can be anyone. It can be absolutely anyone.
So I thought about this question a lot because I did watch your episode last week when
Yes.
it was asked. So I thought about it then. And then I was thinking about it again when I saw that this was a question that could be asked this week. And as much as I like the idea of like escapism and being someone else, I could not think of like a serious answer for this. So my answer instead is just going to be Taylor Swift, specifically
okay.
just because I'm obsessed with her.
Okay.
My Spotify Wrapped can verify that for me. I was in the top 1% of her listeners this past year, which is actually a decrease from last year. It was 1% last year. So
I see.
Yeah, pretty much the only artist I listen to. It might be a problem.
I will say, I understand the hype with Taylor Swift. I get it. And I think she would definitely be the person to switch lives with right now, because I feel like she's riding high right now, being very, very popular right now. But yeah, that's a good answer. I think, because see, I love this question too. I love this question. And I think if I had to have I think if there was someone that I would switch bodies with, okay, here we go. Here we have Mac. What's up, Mac? Can you hear us now? Sweet. Sweet. All right. So, Mac.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right. So, Mac, I'm going to give you the last two questions real fast. So the question right before this was, have you ever dyed your hair a crazy color? And if so, what color have you dyed it?
I was never allowed in high school to dye my hair.
But in college,
I still wasn't allowed to dye my hair because I was in an ROTC program. However, I went from dark blonde to light blonde. So
dang.
It was pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. People didn't know who I was. I could have changed my identity, but it was drastic.
Yeah. Okay. Also, because there was a follow-up question for that for me. Would you ever dye your hair hot pink?
Nope, purple. I want to get purple, especially on the undertones. Like as soon as I'm done with grad school, that's the first thing I'm doing. Might not get hired, but you never know.
Sweet. You love to see it.
Love to see it.
There actually was a teacher in my elementary school who tried to dye her hair brighter red, and it turned out very dark purple. And she had it purple for a whole year. Heidi Gooden, I know that you're watching this, Mama. Do you remember that? Because I distinctly remember that.
Also, hi, Mama Gooden. I love you.
Yeah, I will also say Mac and Hannah are two of my mom's favorite people, and she hasn't even met them in person. So
doesn't matter. She is the best, the OG mom above mom.
Amazing.
I have to say second to my mom because, like,
yeah. I got you. Okay, so the next question that I had was, if you had to spend one day in a Freaky Friday body switch with someone, who would it be? Hannah's answer was Taylor Swift. My answer, this is gonna sound really weird. I would have loved okay, I need to process this answer some more. So Matt, go on, give me your answer while I further process my answer.
Gosh, are we talking about like real people or like fictional people?
So I think they're both fair game. I think both are fair game.
All right. If I had to do Freaky Friday with a fictional character, it would be Rapunzel. She just seems to live the life. A girl that can rock both long blonde hair and short brunette hair and carries around a frying pan seems like someone that I want to like run around the kingdom with.
That's
if
fair.
We're talking about like real people, oh gosh, I have no idea. Actually, no, I take that back. I have lots of ideas. It'd probably be someone on Broadway, but someone who stars in Broadway and has the talent to do that. Because I feel like waking up, like going to the gym, going to rehearsals all day, and then having like a performance or two that day, that sounds like a great life. So I don't even really care who it is at this point. Just someone living that dream.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I get that. Okay, so I have two answers for this, but they're both tied to the same person. So if I could switch lives with someone right now, I think it would actually be Stanley Tucci. I just love Stanley Tucci. I think he's a solid performer, solid actor. And I love his work. As secondary person who I would like to switch bodies with is the character that he plays in Julie and Julia, who is the husband of Julia Child. And like they are a perfect couple, and like, you know, he gets to, you know, eat delicious food in France. Granted, it's the 50s, so that's its own thing, but it's a solid career path, you know, just be Stanley Tucci playing Julia Child's husband in the 50s. I think that's a winner right there.
Can I completely change my answer? I just thought of something way better. And I thought about this for a while. No. Two things. Either Jennifer Aniston in Friends during the Friends era.
Okay.
Or Ryan Reynolds.
Okay. Sweet. I respect that.
I'm not even going to give an explanation. We're just going to end it with a period.
No, you don't need to. Ryan Reynolds is the perfect answer. Excellent. Amy Barker, thank you again for that question. I can't promise that I won't use it again at some point, but it's a really good question. I'm a big fan of it. Another question that I have from one of the people here in Mississippi, Dan Tiffin. Dan Tiffin was wanting to know, what would you do if fear was not a factor and you knew that you would not fail? What is one thing you would do if fear was not a factor and you knew you would not fail? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go on and say my answer for this because it's skydiving. Because one day I will go skydiving, but I'm going to do it when I'm much older. That way, even if I do fail, I've lived a pretty good life so far.
But it'll hurt more. Because because gravity, like, is kind of the factor there. And there's a bunch of, like, gravity and stuff pulling on your joints. And when you're young, the next day you're like, wow, I'm a little sore. Like, when you're older, you're like, wow, I'm in a hospital and can't move for a week because, like, ow.
Yeah, but I don't think you're picking up what I'm putting down, because what I'm saying is that
you're assuming you're going to die.
Yes. I'm assuming I'm going to die. You can assume anything.
That is a poor assumption.
I think it's a great assumption. What about y'all? If fear was not a factor and you knew that you would not fail, what would you do? Shout out to the 3 laughing emojis that my mother just posted in the chat.
Love you, Mama, get it. Okay, so I went career path. That's where my mind went. I said, what would I can't fail. Got this. That means I don't have to worry about money, qualifications, none of that. And I said, what do I want to do? And I was like, duh, I want to be a wedding planner at Disney. I get to play around and be a princess all day and be around happily ever afters. And there's wedding cake. Boom. Best answer.
I love that answer.
It's a
I love
good
it too.
answer.
I love it too. I love the spunk on it. Just the fire on it.
It is the best. But if I wanted to be like if I wanted to look good, I would want to like go around the world and spread the Special Olympics to like different countries and like create like a more globalized like events that are a lot more common. That's like the sound that makes me sound less selfish. But both are great goals.
That's fair. That's fair. Hannah?
My mind's also in career path immediately.
Okay.
And 100%, if I could do any job and would not fail, I would be on Broadway. Like 100%. I love theater. I did theater in high school, and I felt like I was good at it there because I went to a really small school, so there was like 5 people auditioning for any role at most. And so like I got big roles. I got great parts. But it was because there was no one else. There wasn't anyone else.
Don't downplay that.
If I were to actually
don't downplay that. If it's on the resume, it's on the resume.
No, I did not get the role because there was 6 people. I got the lead role because I was the best applicant. Thank you very much.
I can't say that though because I auditioned against my sister more than once. So gotta be nice.
I mean, you don't have to.
And also she is more talented than me, but I didn't say that.
Oh, siblings.
I love the fact that in this friend dynamic, Hannah is the nicest one of the 3 of us by far. So you know, I love that answer.
There's got to be balance.
There has to be because you know, Mac and I are definitely on the chaotic side of life.
Okay, I'm nice, but I'm also unhinged.
Hey, nice but unhinged is a great combination.
Listen,
it's a great combination.
We all spent summers waking up at like 4 a.m. and running around with face paint and screaming all day with children voluntarily. You got to be a little chaotic.
Yeah.
To do that.
Which speaking of which, because you know we did meet doing wind-shaped camps. Seriously, like in my opinion, best job in the world. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I love the job that I have now. I love the job that I had before this, but good Lord, there's nothing like working camp. So given that, you know, we did camp. Hannah and I have done it for 2 years. Mac has done it for 1 year. We've all seen a bunch of different cities. And I'm curious, if you had to move and live in a state that you worked camp in, where would you move?
Midlothian.
That's a fair answer.
That one or Mississippi, only because my volunteer in Mississippi was the bright and soul of camp, including making her own hair glitter and face glitter and giving it to me every day. She bought me my first Starbucks drink. She was just off the chain amazing. But Midlothian, the like kid section called Kidlothian, that made the whole state for me. Like that was.
Yep.
Shout out to Gracie Dominique of Midlothian, and shout out to Kaylee Heidger in Tupelo, Mississippi.
It's been 3 years, and y'all are still that predominantly on my mind. So, y'all are good people.
Yeah, Hannah.
Well, first of all, I think I speak for all 3 of us when I say not Kansas. not Kansas.
Cheers.
Not
Cheers.
Kansas.
But
Why
I
is it
think,
pink?
in all seriousness,
If I have any listeners in Kansas, I'm sorry, but your state is pointless.
Irrelevant.
It has no reason to exist. There's a reason Dorothy left.
Also, she almost died making that, so we don't even have that to go on.
That's how much she wanted to leave.
right?
Sorry, Hannah. Go ahead.
No, but in all seriousness, probably either Louisiana or Mississippi, because they're so pretty. They're so pretty. That's literally it. Like, there were great people there too, but it's because it was so pretty.
Yeah. Well, I inadvertently moved to a city where we did, not a city, but I moved to a state where we did camp. I now live in Mississippi, and I can attest to the fact that it is gorgeous here, and it's excellent. Love it. All right. Solid answers to those questions. Next question, and this has become one of my favorite questions to ask people, and it's because I love to hear people's reasoning behind it. Okay, so if you could be a supervillain, you are not doing anything for the greater good. If you could be a supervillain and you knew you were a supervillain, what would be your superpower?
I'm so ready.
Go.
Okay, I don't remember if it was someone at camp that said this or if it was some other weirdo that I interact with who I love. But the ability, okay, here with me. Focus. Ready? You ready for this?
Okay.
The ability to create minor inconveniences, like constantly, i.e., your fries are cold, your pillow is hot, you hit every red light, just like at my will, just being like red light, and then all of a sudden they hit every red light for like 2 weeks, and no one would know it was me because like that could happen at everyday life, but I would have the power, and I think it would be good.
Okay.
Wait, I remember that answer from camp, but I can't remember who said it.
I feel like that would have been either a Johnny or a Caleb Jimenez answer.
Was it? I thought someone also said the ability to know when someone was like staring at them.
I think that's actually Caroline Chester. I think that's actually Caroline Chester.
I love her.
Wait, no. You know who might have said small inconveniences? Ellie. Ellie might have said small.
Oh.
Ellie would say
Ellie would say that.
I loved Ellie. Go Ocean. Sorry.
Ellie, if you're watching, I don't think you are, but Ellie, if you're watching,
we miss you.
You're solid. You're solid.
Your Ocean sounds were hilarious.
So Hannah, your supervillain power.
Okay. I thought about this, right? First of all, I would love to be a villain. It just seems like it'd be so fun. Yeah, I've always secretly wanted to be a villain. Just
the villains have more fun.
You literally just called her the nice one, Doug.
Specifically, I would very much like to be Maleficent because she's one of those villains that's not redeemable. Like, she didn't have a good reason. She just was mean. She was just, her whole name even just was she was evil to the core, and I love that. And so in the spirit of that, I would like to be able to become a dragon.
Okay, sweet. So I've said what my supervillain power would be, and people often think that it makes me sound like a sociopath, and I'm okay with that. All right, so I would love to have the power of mind control, because I think mind control is like the quintessential supervillain power. And having watched The Eternals, I forget what the character's name is, but there's a character in there who has mind control, and in his mind, he's just like, I'm doing what's best for humanity. And I'm like, nah, dude, you're a villain, and I love it, because you're proving my point. You're literally making my point that mind control is the best villain power, because you literally just take away free will and make people do exactly. I think that's the best supervillain power. Period. Exclamation point. Love it. Big fan. Okay, so I'm not even gonna lie. These next two questions are just weird. You just gotta bear with me, listeners. these are just weird questions that I came up with last minute. So there's a comedic troupe that I love. They're based out of Australia. They're called Auntie Donna. I love them to death. They're hilarious. And they just updated their merch store, okay? And on their merch store, they each, it's a troupe of 3 guys, and each of them offered up one service that they would do for $1 million. One of them said for $1 million, he would live with you for 3 years as a spiritual guide 24/7. He would build a hut in your backyard and live on a diet of fish and rice for $1 million. Another guy said for $1 million, he would teach you how to rock climb. Even though he doesn't know how to rock climb, he would figure it out for $1 million. And the other guy said for $1 million, he would beat up the bully in your life. So, Hannah and Mac, if you were a celebrity with your own merch for sale, what would you sell for $1 million?
I'm going to let Hannah go first on this one.
All right. I'm trying to think about this one because it was last minute, so I didn't prepare for this one. I did prepare very thoroughly for the other questions, actually, even though they also were only sent a few hours ago.
Dumb.
I mean, I'm not even going to lie.
I'm sitting here next to my bookshelf where I have a ton of random things that I have hoarded over the years. And it's coming to mind that I have a bunch of just random stuff I could sell. Somewhere on this bookshelf, there is a notebook from my first year of college that has nothing but random quotes from professors.
Oh,
no context.
Yep.
Precious.
No context.
Yep.
Love that. Keep it
forever. Love that. Sell it for $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. They could just have random quotes. Some of them are absurd. I wish I could find where this notebook is so I could read you a random quote, but I'm not actually finding it.
So
great
kind of
quotes.
going off that, I have a quote book that I kept during my last year of college, my last 2 years of college, and like it's 90% quotes from professors, and it's great stuff. Like I had one professor who went on a 30-minute lecture about the perfect way to create a burger. The perfect way to make a burger. And like the level of detail this man went into is impeccable. I recorded the entire thing and just saved it on a flash drive. Dr. Glass, if you're out there and you're watching this, I remember that lecture. I still have it saved somewhere. But yeah.
Okay. If you want to talk about quotes, I keep quotes of what my preschoolers say. Let me rephrase. As a reference, I work with autistic preschoolers. And so it's more of what we say, kind of the teachers say in relevance to what's going on in the situations. I think the top 3 from this week are don't draw with your poop. Why are you trying to jump off the table? And no, we don't put our heads in the pillowcases. So
those are good quotes.
They're good ones, right? Like every day. So if my 4-year-olds are watching this, you should be in bed. Okay. I would sell a service, something that brings a lot of joy to my life. And that is color coding my agenda and making schedules and making like everything look all pretty and neat. Something that I've tried to get Doug to do for many, many years now to get organized. Like you get an agenda, you got all the highlighters. Every different type of event has a different color, so you know what colors go where. You can organize assignments if you're in school or appointments if you're adulting. Like it's great. And so like I have several things of pens and highlighters and different gel pens and all these pretty things. And so like my $1 million services, I will come and organize like your life and give you an agenda, and it'll be pretty. And it'll make you feel like you have your life together, even though you don't.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just not having an agenda.
What? How do you survive? How do you know?
I have a Google Calendar, but other than that,
like how do you like write down like, oh, I need milk? Like, how are you gonna remember that? You gotta write it down.
I just figure out when I get to the store. I figure out when I go to the store that I don't have milk, and if I actually have milk, then I'll just accidentally buy a second gallon of milk, and I'll probably drink it before
Just have
either
extra
of them
milk.
goes bad.
Who
I just
drinks
have extra milk.
Who drinks
Um,
milk? Sorry.
I will say
I mean,
that my
agreed.
$1
Who
million
drinks plain
service,
milk?
my $1 million service would be, I will come to your home or to your place of work, and you just give me a person in your life, and I will wrap their office or home in pictures of me, like
I
wallpaper,
love that.
just head to toe, just pictures of me. uh, and it doesn't have to be a person who knows me. It's actually better if it's not a person who knows me, because then they're just going to show up one day and there are random pictures of this guy who they have never met in their entire life all over their office, their
Request.
home.
Can it
Yes.
be you in a split? Because that's even funnier.
No. So this is actually interesting. I thought about this while I was getting ready for the show tonight. You two are two of the only people in the world who witnessed my last split that I've ever done.
Good.
And
Don't stretch. You're gonna hurt yourself.
I did hurt myself multiple times.
And
I have
we told you to stop, and did you?
no.
Okay, and now you're hurt.
Well, I mean, I'm not hurt anymore. I just can't do a split. I'm like physically incapable of doing a split anymore. So it is what it is. But yeah. How does that feel, knowing that you're two of the last people who have ever seen me do a split?
Depends. I've got 3 distinct images that come to my mind. One, when the pastor of the church we were at told you to do a split, and you were like,
yes.
all right, cool. The second time, when the image of you on a split was embodied in a cake.
Yes.
Yeah. And the third one, where you were like, you did a whole like dance routine right before it. You're like, bring it around, and you like busted out a dance move before dropping into a split.
Yeah.
Which I still have the video of.
I do too.
Said, this is my summer. It was pretty early on. And
actually, it wasn't. It actually wasn't, because all 3 of those things happened the week we were in Midlothian, Texas.
I love Midlothian.
Which was our 8th week of camp, and also the last week I did.
I have a video from early on, because you were like, we were all trying to basically like show off about who we are, because we were going to be with each other for the next 9 weeks. And you're like, I can do a split. And then you did.
I did.
Wasn't that hurt? And you said no.
Well, it didn't at the time. It did later on.
Okay. You're old now.
It's okay though. I don't regret the pain that I felt doing multiple splits and tearing my hamstring. Mm-hmm. So we just talked about how I'm old now and can't do splits anymore. Speaking of being old, we all have at some point or do currently work with kids or students or teenagers or what have you. And even though we're not that much older than some of our students, we still are kind of much older than some of our students. So yeah, this is a long way of saying, what's the most outdated thing that you've ever said to a kid that made you realize just how old you were?
I'll go first, because we talked about this before, and this fact makes you want to cry every time. My little ocean babies, my 5 and 6-year-olds, bless their heart, love them to death. I said, we were dancing to a High School Musical song. You don't know what High School Musical is, you probably shouldn't be here. It's past your bedtime. But they were like, I was like, yeah, Zac Efron from High School Musical, Troy Bolton, like, get your head in the game. I was like, come on. And they were like, oh, you mean that guy from The Greatest Showman? And I said, I'm sorry, what? That is Troy Bolton of East High Wildcats. Do not disrespect him. But yeah, they didn't know the movie High School Musical, and they knew Zendaya and Zac Efron from The Greatest Showman. Sad day.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a wake-up call right there. Hannah, do you have one for us?
So similarly at camp, I wrote a cheer based off of Get Your Head in the Game from High School Musical. And I asked my kiddos, I went, who here has seen High School Musical? And not a single one of them raised their hands. And I felt ancient. But also, I work with people right now who are younger than me for the most part. And I cannot for the life of me remember what song it was that I was playing in the store, the soundtrack. But one of my coworkers went, "Oh man, I only know this song from TikTok." And I almost cried because I can't remember what the song was, but it was one that can't be more than 10 years old. It can't
I got
be.
you.
But
I got you. I got you.
They're like, this song is so old, and I felt ancient.
Yeah. So I have two, and you both know these already. One was I'm kind of old. The other one, I'm just out of style. So the first one is at camp. This was 2 or 3 years ago now. It was our first summer working together. And a friend of ours named Johnny Adams. Johnny and I decided to lead a cheer one day, and the cheer was the entire theme song of Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Johnny and I got a kick out of it. No one else on the team did. No one else on the team loved it. Maybe Hannah loved it.
It was so long.
It's great. It's
I
great.
was so excited.
But we said to the kids, we were like, all right, guys, we're going to sing the Phineas and Ferb theme song. Everybody know what that is? And all the kids were like, nope. And Johnny and I were crushed. We were distraught at the fact that these kids did not know what Phineas and Ferb was.
They were also fifth graders. Like, they were not young.
Yeah, and to put it into context for you, I work with... To put it into context for you, I work with middle schoolers now. And the middle schoolers are aware of what Phineas and Ferb is. Now, granted, Disney Plus has come out since then, so that probably has helped a lot. But yeah, that one crushed me. And then another one that really I should have known was going to be way too old when I said it was I had two students that I just met for the first time like a few weeks ago. And they came up to me and they were sisters and they said, "Hi, my name's Liza. My name's Ellie." And I was like, "Oh, so Liza Minnelli." And they looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Y'all know Liza Minnelli?" And in my head, I was like, "No, of course they don't. Why would two middle schoolers in 2021 know who Liza Minnelli is?" So
they probably thought you were a grandpa. Good grief.
With a Liza Minnelli reference, I might as well be. But yeah. Well, y'all, that is all the questions that I have for us tonight. Hannah, Mac, did y'all have fun?
I'm supposed to say yes here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mac. Thanks. Thank you so much.
I had lots of fun. I like to talk, so
good.
Works out well.
Good. And Hannah, did you have fun?
I did, yeah.
Lovely.
Nice one.
Lovely. Second time on the show. You know, I hope it was just as good, if not better than the first. And Mac, it was great to finally have you on the show.
I'm never going to be invited back.
So anyway, no, it's been great. You know, it's always, oh my gosh, hold on. I have to address this. My mother in the comments just said that we slap.
Yes.
Mama.
I love that.
Yes, Mama Gooden.
Mama.
Yes.
Mama, I love you.
We do.
Heidi Gooden.
I love it.
Slap.
Heidi Gooden, I love you to death. Please never use the phrase slap or that slaps or y'all slap.
No, do not let him duel your sparkle,
Don't
Mama
let him
Gooden.
stop
Use
you.
the word slap.
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to go on and wrap everything up right now. Folks, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Daniel Van Zant and Heidi Gooden for being active in various aspects of the chat. Yeah, we have new episodes of Tea with Doug G every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. New episodes of Setting the Skeen every Wednesday. This week, I can't remember what episode we have this week, but I'm sure it's a good one.
What if you had a color-coded agenda?
You're so funny, Mac. You're so funny. But yeah, be sure to keep up with everything we have going on here at Viter Media. And yeah. I think that's going to do it for us this week. But for all of us here at Tea with Doug G, I'm Doug Gooden. She's Hannah Day. She's Mac Michener. And this has been The Tea. Y'all have a fantastic week.